Hi all, Agent here, and we are going to do another Wall Copter video. Getting into these again, so I'm probably going to be fiddling with lots of designs. This is a brand new one, very first match it's played. We just started this match, it just missed a hotkey. It's only been like 30 seconds, 20 seconds into the match. So, here we go. Enemy team is composed of several different types of drones. They don't seem to have a ground bot unless they've got a hover I don't see very much. We'll review that statement as the video goes on because there was a guy on the ground at our near point. But for the most part, they've got at least 4, probably 5 drones. They've got one of those small high burst plasma drones. That guy is probably a medium type of drone, maybe a little on the low side CPU. He's got both lasers and plasma. He's also a good player. Enemy team actually has several good players that I have seen a lot in games, and I know we're in for a challenge when we're up against them. And I don't really know any of the players on my team, so I was actually a little bit worried when we went into this match, especially when I saw this guy. I know him from the forums. I don't see him in game very much, but he is fairly active on the Free Jam forums, so I've seen him there, but I saw his lock on a Mega Plasma and was kind of worried. But what happened was is our team composition, as you can see, is a little different than theirs. They have all aircraft, and they have, I don't want to call them gimmicky, but they were aircraft and drones that were very effective in the old meta, but they're not as effective in this meta because they're not as good at taking points when you have a team that can defend those points well. They're very mobile. Do not underestimate them. I'm not saying they're bad at taking points, but they're only good at taking points in certain circumstances, such as when they're up against a lot of ground builds. And here, like I said, we have a good team composition. You can see right now we've got a double Laser Leviathan sprinter, and then we've got a rail sprinter. Very good choices to have on the ground. And then the rest of us are aircraft. I believe the rest of us are all copters similar to mine. We've got a double Laser Leviathan Copter off to my left doing work, and I am a Laser Disintegrator and Plasma Devastator Copter. I barely even use my plasmas this round because they're all aircraft, so I have no real use for the plasma, which is exactly why I got away from using all plasma builds. I have several prop drones. They're kind of copters. I call them helicopters. They're not really drones because they can't fly once they lose their rotor blades. They can flail around on the ground, but they're not as good as thruster-based drones. So I don't really call them drones. But anyway, I've got several of those things, and they don't do very well in this new meta because you run up against a lot of matches like this where you've got a lot of small drones and drones in general. And as you can see, our team composition with lasers and rails is doing a really good job of keeping these guys suppressed. This is a really good team too. I don't know how in the hell I got lucky enough to have a team of randoms that is this, like, we are just so synergized. You can see if you watch the targets that I'm shooting at, most of the time there are 1 or 2 other guys shooting at this target, so we're all prioritizing targets pretty damn well, and it works out really well for us. And these 2 guys on the ground, MVPs of the match, they do a really good job on the ground, especially facing an enemy team like this. They may not have done so well if, say, we had 2 more guys on the ground, and I wouldn't have done so well, or any other aircraft, if they were the only aircraft in the sky, because then all of the drones would probably be focusing on them. The lock-on fighter, I guess he's a bomber because he does have a Plasma Goliathon on the bottom. But anyway, the lock-on missile launcher guy would be focusing on him. All right, so there's our other guy, and he does appear to be a drone. Not too sure, but for all intents and purposes, we're going to say the enemy team is composed only of drones and aircraft. The lock-on guy is definitely not a drone. I'm not calling him a drone. He is definitely a bomber and an interceptor without lock-on on there. So he is not a drone. He's got a pretty good build too. It's pretty tough. But as you can see, we are all focus firing. And I don't know. I think the guy if you notice, there was just the guy shooting what appeared to be low-tier plasma. There he is off to my left right now. I think he is not being incredibly useful to the team right now, but he is being useful in a way of, it looks like the lock-on fighter is targeting him a lot more than me or the other copter out there. So he's actually serving a purpose, and he did very, very much help us in this match because he took the heat off of the rest of us when it comes to that lock-on missile launcher. So they got the core, but we are still we're still maintaining 2 points, and that's what's most important in this match, is to hold the 2 points more than the enemy. Do not have to get all 3 points. Do not even go for all 3 points unless you are absolutely sure that you can hold all 3 points. So again, look, this Rail's doing work. He's the real MVP of this round. He's on the ground. He's got a really hard job to do. They captured their point back, but then we flipped mid back to us, so we still have our 2 points. But this Rail, he is doing work. If you pay attention, he is always shooting at something. I mean, this guy knows how to position himself. He's getting the angles he needs. These guys can't hide from him behind this ice outcropping because I've got an angle on him. Rail is still doing work on these guys. I'd love to party up with this whole team of guys, and I may actually look at this video later and send them all friend invites, because this match, this team of randoms, incredibly synergized. We all worked so well together. It was very refreshing, because usually teams of randoms are all just doing their own thing, and it is nothing but an exercise in frustration once you get to like 1,000 and above MMR. So back to the match, we are holding down just the 2 points we need to hold down, and they can have their 1 point. That's fine. We don't need to absolutely go take that point. We can win the match without taking it, even if they destroy both of those proto cores, as long as we hold both of our points. And that is what this team is apparently focused on. We do take the far point, which is their near point. We do take that several times, but it doesn't seem to be a focus of this team of randoms, and it's a very good thing. We only take it when we need to have a second point, and they're all over here on mid. Then we'll go ahead and take that point just to make sure we've got 2 points, and that is the exact right way to play this game. So you can see Ender here is telling me Agent MSMG copters are better. For newer players, Laser Leviathans used to be Mega SMGs, and they've changed the name back to lasers, and now they're called Laser Leviathans, so that's what they are. That's really a debatable topic. I mean, we've got this other guy over here, just forward on my screen. He's actually got Laser Leviathans, and they are good weapons. The problem is that, one, you're either going to be squishy, or you're not going to have enough energy to do as much damage as you need to some of the tankier targets. So they're really CPU intensive. They're high CPU weapons, and as you climb in CPU, obviously, you don't have as much energy to work with. So I've gotten away from using Laser Leviathans because my aim isn't that great. I miss a lot of shots, but I definitely hit more than I miss. But the laser disintegrators, they're a lot less penalizing, and they are much more energy efficient in terms of accuracy and damage per energy when you're including how much you miss. So they don't pack as much punch, but they do hurt really bad when they hit these lower CPU builds, and they are much less penalizing as far as energy and wasted energy goes when you miss shots. You can also have a lot more redundancy with these laser disintegrators. They are, I've got 8 of them on here, so it's really hard to disarm me. You have to shoot off half of my guns, over half of my guns, to even affect my rate of fire and damage output, which is another really strong selling point of using laser disintegrators over Leviathans. Now, Leviathans in the right hands, light years better than disintegrators. If you have really good aim and you're a player who just knows when to be in the right position, can use cover effectively, can play peekaboo and land those powerful shots over and over again, yeah, you're going to be better off using Laser Leviathans. I'm not one of those players. I'm more of a brawler. I get out here in my, as you can see, it's an old style freaking Wall Copter. It's not as massive as our traditional old Wall Copters. I'm kind of on the fence as to whether or not it's actually a Wall Copter, but for all intents and purposes, we're going to call it a Wall Copter. I don't really get into drones. I use props. I'm kind of like, I don't get as refined as a lot of the more competitive clans with the builds. I like to get out here and brawl. I have built thruster-based drones before, and I like them, but I really like big, nasty, tanky builds like this. And that thing does tank laser fire like a champ. So there you have it. We won the match. Really, really good game. I know they only had 42%, but I had to work a lot, and so did all of our team to make that victory happen. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and see you next time.